Welcome back, everyone. NicknLex here. Thank you so much for joining me today in this new Marley. In this new episode of Music with Nick. We got a instrumental marathon today by JK. Thank you, JK, for sponsoring this video. And yes, I just saw that Smash Mouth answered to us. That is awesome. That's kind of cool. Because JK had an amazing idea to do Steely Dan covers, and one of them was by Smash Mouth, and that's like, I guess, the only one that I kind of had not a problem with. I just said, you know, it's not their style. I think they did a great job, and that's that. You know, I guess they're not, you know, they're not in the jazz. They don't play, you know, those kind of tunes, but I think they did a great job to do the Do It Again song, and that's that. But that's so cool that, you know, you got these really cool bands and very famous bands, you know, reaching out, and one of them, I don't know who was, it just says Smash Mouth, and he's like, he dive into our catalog, man, you know. So I'll do it. I also pin the comments, so if you want to write to them, or if you like Smash Mouth, go to the video, write something, answer them. But JK, I wanted to thank you that you reached out and said, hey, you know, they answered to us. So yeah, there you go. So maybe we got James Taylor next, or Elton John, who knows, Joe Jackson. But this is going to be amazing. I know I love Elton John. I love James Taylor. I love Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson is in that Steely Dan marathon. Burt Bacharach, I love his compositions. And Mark Knopfler is one of my favorite. Marley, he's like, Mark Knopfler is one of my favorite guitar players on this planet, right? So a living legend, to say the least, you know. So if you clicked on this video because you see one of your heroes or one of your favorite musicians, there you go. You please thank JK for that. And this is what he got to say. So Superstar Instrumental. So it's an instrumental marathon. It says, hi, Nick, feel free to come up with a better title. Just leave it. Since I'm not sure what to call this marathon, these are all gigantic pop stars known for singing their hits, but not this time, since these songs have no words. So but I'm already in love with this marathon because I'm more an instrumental guy, you know. They're happy just playing the songs they wrote. Obviously, these are all deep cuts, so I love deep cuts. That's what the channel was based on. That's what the channel was founded upon. We were basically doing Metallica, but the least listened to song. Iron Maiden, the least listened to song. And that's how we kind of like built the whole, you know, channel. Now we obviously do like songs like, I don't know, like School by Supertramp. You know, you have to do some hits to get some kind of like recognition so people watch your channel. But here, Out of the Blue by Elton John from the album Blue Moves 1978, a proggy jam. Instrumental number 2 by James Taylor from the album One Man Dog 1972, short but very sweet. I saw that, just 1 minute and 42 seconds. Acropolis Now, like Apocalypse Now, one of my favorite movies, by Joe Jackson from the album Blaze of Glory 1989. Get ready to hear Balakalakai. Okay, let's check it out. Pacific Coast Highway by Burt Bacharach from the album Make It Easy on Yourself 69. Okay, I'll admit he didn't usually sing because other people usually did his songs, but this was purposefully written as an instrumental. All right. Go Home, theme of the local hero by Mark Knopfler. Ooh, this must be Mark Knopfler on instrumental, must be amazing because the talking he does with his guitar is just sublime. And then we get that amazing voice just to top it up, but not here. Last song of the Local Heroes soundtrack 1983. Watch that movie with Lex. Will do. Knopfler did the whole soundtrack. Thanks. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. You know, it's just the right amount of info to not spoil anything. I love that. sometimes a lot of people like add a little bit too much, because then you're making my video way too easy, you know, because it's already been said. I'm not gonna just be, oh yeah, you know, you know what I mean. So here we go with Elton John. Elton John is a master musician. Even without the singing, I'm sure it's gonna be amazing. Let's check it out. Here we go. Again, thank you again. If you clicked on the video and you like what you see, please like it. If it sucks, dislike it, you know, sign up for free, you know, subscribe, of course. And so you get more videos. That's pretty much it. You get free videos. So also a thank you to people like JK and the people that sponsor these videos, because that is obviously not free. So please, if you can, leave like a nice comment, a thank you, something like that, because that's pretty much the bread and butter for us, you know, who do this. And also, these videos don't pay me anything. YouTube demonetize these, especially these videos, because we're using copyright content. So here we go. Elton John, Out of the Blue. Let's go. Wow. That was crazy. That was so good. But I'm having just a hard time to finding people who actually played this. I have one who's a very important guy in like the movie industry, which is James Newton Howard. He played the synth on this, and this has 4 sides, so I guess it's a double album. So Elton plays the acoustic piano on this track. He played Kurt Beecher, or I don't think it's Becker. There were no backing vocals, according to us. I guess there were. And then here, what else? So track number 10, we got. By the way, this piece was just. It was proggy. It had this classical influence, like Renaissance meets. I don't know, man. It was just so good. The bass, the harmony guitars, I'll find it in a second. Maybe the marimba. Was it the marimba? I think it was. What else? We had some. Let's see here. So electric guitar on 10. Bruce Johnston. No, I'm sorry. That's another backing vocal. Electric guitar, Davy Johnston. Electric guitar on this. Even though there were 2, I guess they overdubbed it. And then we got the synth, yeah. James Newton Howard has done some amazing film music, video game music that I love. Metal Gear Solid is one of them. Guitar solo, Caleb Quay on 10, which is out of the blue. Now, if you would have played me this without telling me this is Elton John, I wouldn't have. Obviously not. This sounded like, it sounded really proggy, like, yeah, like, you know, maybe Gong, you know, the band Gong, because of, but a little bit of Zappa, you know, it had like the Zappa vibe, the scales, and just the complexity of the whole thing. Very, very cool. Very different. I love that you did this, because never in my right mind would I have thought this is Elton John, you know. No freaking clue. This was definitely good. Very cool. I love that he also goes for stuff like this, you know, in his earlier years. When did this come? When was this released? Blue Moves, 1976. Now, this album doesn't really have a lot of, like, you know, sometimes when I look up stuff on Google, it says like 94%, 95%, 92% like this album. This only has 84%. There's a lot of people who didn't get what he was doing, I think, you know, which I guess happens, you know. Tumbleweed Connection. Let's see the likes on this. 97% like this album. So this is an album that is, I guess, a little bit too out there for the normal crowd. For me, I would give this like a 98, you know. I really like this. Like, let's give it a like here on Google, so the number goes up. It's almost like the Metascore, you know. It's just like, it's a cruel world, you know. But it is what it is, you know. There are reviewers out there, and they're gonna criticize, you know. So it is what it is. You know, it says here, Blue Moves is definitely one of Elton's more experimental albums, but I love it. But this is on Prog Archives, you know. Very, very cool. Elton's John most underrated albums. I guess maybe this is like the whole album has like this, maybe this feel, but it says rock, pop rock, soft rock, prog rock, and I think that's where kind of like a lot of people checked out. It's like, what is he doing? Why is he not being, you know, romantic? And where is the voice? You know, I'm like, is he ever gonna start singing? Like, I remember playing music to friends of mine, and it's like, when is he gonna start singing? I'm like, he's not singing. It's an instrumental. Why? Because, you know, because. So, okay, instrumental 2. This is from James Taylor. I'm sure it's going to be some beautiful acoustic guitar. Let's give it a listen here from the Warner Bros. Albums 70 to 76. Just check it out. Wow. Beautiful. It's also cut up very suddenly here. We have the sheet music, just awesome. Oh man, it's a nice piece. Very classical. Let's see how it sounds. And so forth. So if you want to learn stuff, so it's out there, it would be interesting to learn. The chords they have it's the picking pattern of the right hand. That's the challenge on classical pieces like that. But I love the chords, like mostly minor seventh here. Wow, major seventh, like there's a lot of weird chords, 13s. Very nice, very, very cool. And you have to be a hell of a guitar player to come up with this stuff, you know? So yeah, I loved it. I thought of maybe, who knows, you know, I love John Williams, the John Williams guitar player, not the composer. I love the composer as well, but that's more, you know, classical. I would say he plays everything from Bach to everything, you know, John Williams guitar player. So, but yeah, very hard stuff. Jorge Morel is another person that I love to read the sheet music to, because it's that guy's on a different level. I'm gonna do some reactions to Jorge Morel. He's from Argentina. That is just like, it's next level classical guitar. It's like very, very, very difficult. And I learned one piece, Danza in E minor, and still to this day, like I'm struggling to play it in the right way. You know, the tempo is kind of off. I'm just not that good on the classical guitar, which I started with. But once you start with a classical guitar, you get to a certain stage, you have to keep going. If you then start playing metal and rock, you have to, that's a art that you have to continue studying. Otherwise you'll lose the ability to do, you know, which rock, you can't really lose it, because it's not that difficult to begin with. Joe Jackson, we just did 2 Joe Jackson tracks on the Steely Dan marathon, the Steely Dan cover marathon. I love Joe Jackson. Okay, Acropolis now. I'm sure that's a call out to Apocalypse Now. Maybe, or maybe not. Definitely it is, because it's 1989. So who doesn't Apocalypse Now? Who doesn't love Apocalypse Now? Now, here's something I wanted to talk to, because I know that JK is also a film fan. What did you think of Megalopolis, the newest Francis Ford Coppola movie? We only have watched the half, so I can't really say like what I think about it. I think it's a great idea. The execution, I don't know. I really have to watch the whole film, but let me know if you've watched it and what you think, because unfortunately it really tanked at the box office. But I mean, it's also, if you look at the Oscars of this year, they were more focused on indie production and really, really cheap movies, very good movies like, the Anora that won everything pretty much, and they ignored like blockbuster $1 million movies like Dune, which is a shame because Dune, we've waited for someone to make Dune like the book, and then finally someone comes and does it, and then we don't even the Academy doesn't even nominate him as best director. That was, I think, a little bit of a hard pill to swallow, being a movie fan. Something like Lord of the Rings Part 3, Return of the King, where you really nail it and then you don't. And that movie won, I don't know, like 8 Oscars. I think they should have done a little bit more for Dune. But well, I'm getting off the subject. Here we have Acropolis now by Joe Jackson, Blaze of Glory album. I've done some of this. I remember the cover. Here we go. Instrumental time for Joe Jackson. All right. Ooh. And it bleeds into the next song. Wow, this track was freaking amazing. I mean, the whole, Middle Eastern, Egyptian kind of thing reminded me a lot of Aldi Meola Mahavishnu Orchestra, the keyboard solo just blew my mind. Like, holy moly, what a way to use just one chord and just, solo over it very creatively, reminded me a little bit of Jan Hammer by Mahavishnu Orchestra, or John McLaughlin could have also done it. Aldi Meola did a song, Egyptian Dancer, beautiful. Listen to it. It's an instrumental. It's going to blow you away. Very reminiscent of this. Let's check out who played on this with Joe Jackson. This was really, really good. I mean, these are so talented, and I get it, because I mean, if I had that kind of talent, oh god, Joe Jackson, not Michael Jackson's dad, please, Joe Jackson, band. I would also go instrumental, I would now and then, if I had that success as a singer, then I would also write a lot of instrumental. I would right now start with instrumental music, because that's what I suck at lyrics. Let's take a look here. So, A Blaze of Glory. Wow. He produced amazing, like, what a legacy since 1979. Just like Blaze of Glory, 89. Where is it? Aha, there it is. Almost too short. This was so good. Number 5. Okay, so number 5, he played the piano, the acoustic piano. Who played the solo? The synth solo. He played the solo. Wow, very good. What a great, way to choose his notes. What a player, even on the. But also, like, for example, another one that surprised me, Howard Jones is an amazing, accomplished, like, keyboard player, like, just a wizard. So we got guitars, Tom Teely. We got 12-string guitar, Vinny Zumo. Acoustic guitar, also Vinny. And then we got on the bass, did he play number 5? No, Rick Ford on bass on this one. And we got Gary Blurk on the drums. And I love that it also had some, percussions and congas and stuff like that. And we just are in love with Santana Abraxas album. It just blew our minds. And I love that a lot of people were like, well, you actually, like, this is like the record for the most amount of wows. We were just like, wow. It was just such a good album. This was amazing tune. Definitely saving it to my instant access cuts, Joe Jackson. I really want to see Joe Jackson live. I think it would be amazing. The amazing, the unique, and the almighty Burt Bacharach. I mean, a songwriter who has just, like, pretty much lifted everyone, in the music business. Linda Ronstadt, and I mean, just countless of artists. So let's listen to Pacific Coast Highway, an instrumental that was written as an instrumental. Let's check it out here. Burt Bacharach from Make It Easy on Yourself, and this is from 1969. Some great instrumental music coming out of the 60s. Like, I mean, there's some good marathons. Check them out on the channel. Just genius. Wonderful. So good. It reminded me a lot of like bands like Chicago who use this kind of like orchestration, you know, horn instruments mixed with strings and then that flute there. That was just the icing on the cake. But yeah, I mean, someone like Burt Bacharach, for him, this is nothing, you know, to write this. It's very, very natural, the way they harmonize, you know, all the instruments and blend into each other just with such ease. And it's just a beautiful, like, instrumental. And I love that it's called Pacific Coast Highway. And I was like, okay, let's look up this Pacific Coast Highway. And it's I didn't know this, but I've seen this in, I think, in movies. California State Route 1, PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway, a scenic coastal road in California renowned for stunning views of the Pacific Ocean and rugged coastline, offering a popular road trip experience that I would like to do with Alexia. You know, that would be kind of fun. Maybe not the whole thing, because it's like, it takes, I don't know. I mean, it's what, 600 miles? It's just also not like the craziest amount, like maybe 12 hours or something like that. Let's see. Time to drive. 10 to 12 hours. So this is from San Diego to San Francisco. Could take around 10 to 12 hours, but more enjoyable experience requires at least 3 to 5 days to see the sights and enjoy the scenery. That's what I would like to do. You know, I don't just want to like drive. Wonderful. But yeah, back to the song, just the way it was composed, just seamlessly, like perfect, you know, just wonderfully, beautifully written. Thank you again for the introduction to Burt Bacharach as a whole, all you guys on the channel. I mean, this guy is like one of the masters, you know. And I guess this is the one that I've been looking forward to this entire time. Mark Knopfler, you know, playing instrumental music. That's, I mean, can't get any better than this. Going Home, theme from The Local Hero, the movie. Let's see, can we even watch that? Or do I have to use my VPN to see it? Let's see, when is this? Who's the cast? Okay. I do recognize some people, but it's like last, I didn't want to say last generation, but it's like actors that are, it's a British comedy drama. Okay. But I do recognize some people here. Music by Mark Knopfler. So cool. Okay, let's check it out. And it is on. That's the thing. That's why I still like to buy movies, because then you're like, well, it's not on anything, so forget about it, you know. It's on YouTube movies, which we don't have. So I'm gonna have to use my VPN and look if it's on like some other streaming service that is maybe out of the United States, you know. All right, so let's give it up here from Mark Knopfler, Going Home. It's gonna blow me away, I'm sure. Oh my lord. Mark Knopfler. He has like there are obvious like traits there like that he uses in his music, but I think it's a wonderful idea to use him the way he just builds on this, you know, in this here, the way it starts. And I think every song, even when he sings, has like this build up. It always, you know, I don't know. He has like, he's just very, very talented, as we all know. And it must be, yeah, it must be crazy to get approached as a rock artist, a rock icon or whatever. Um, and be like, hey, you write some music for a film? You know? But I mean, the same happened to, you know, look at another rock artist, or maybe prior rock artist, Danny Elfman, who became one of the most thought after, you know, movie composers, especially in like the genre of, like, you know, Tim Burton or the horror or horror comedy kind of, like, you know. He's just so good. But even the Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man that came out, the theme that he wrote is just amazing, you know. But this was amazing. Very, very good. Very, very great build up, and not as much as guitar as I thought, but hey, it still had the trademark, you know, like of his sounds that he uses in his, you know, in his music, which is not really like the Dire Straits first album that's very guitar oriented. And then later he departed from that into something more like a little bit of everything, you know. And yeah, so this was amazing. Thank you so much, JK, for the introduction to various of these themes. Elton John, very, very, very good. Progressive, different. James Taylor, beautiful acoustic classical guitar, very challenging. Joe Jackson, I love the whole Egyptian Middle Eastern vibe. Burt Bacharach, beautiful, yet very influential, I think, to bands like, you know, like who plays sax and trumpets in harmony, like, you know, Chicago and stuff like that. And then Mark Knopfler, what can I say? I drifted off there for a second because I was like, what other movies has this director done? And then I saw Being There, which I still have to watch. I'm a huge fan of Peter Sellers. It's also because of a little bit of a obsession. My dad knew this man, and I was a huge fan of the Pink Panther movies because they were very funny. And he's like, oh yeah, he's a very good friend of mine, blah blah blah. So I was like, okay, now I have to watch everything he's ever made. And I still have to watch Doctor Strangelove, and I've started it so many times, and I know he was nominated twice for that movie, which is crazy because he played, I think, 4 or 5 characters in it. But again, thank you so much, JK. I appreciate your support, your ideas. You know, your marathons are always very thoughtful, and I hope, you know, you get a lot of comments and love from the community. Again, thank you so much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.